welcome. I'm Melissa King, a certified master health coach and certified personal trainer, founder of Wellness Abundance Coaching. So I'm super excited. I'm here with my nutritionist friend, Landon, today, and she's going to introduce herself in a moment. But we are here. We have recently partnered to make sure we have an opportunity to offer our clients like a very well-rounded program. So I'm so excited about this new partnership with you, Landon. So before we dive into today's topic, if you want to introduce yourself, Landon, and share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Melissa and I, this has been a really fun thing that we've done, just kind of getting together and sharing ideas. I am a board certified holistic nutritionist. And I am also a health coach. Actually, we got our health coaching through the same institute, which is kind of fun that we have that background together. Mm-hmm. And I love helping women in particular kind of navigate their life, their nutrition, their mindset, their all of it, all of the above without stress and overwhelm. That's kind of my platform. Like, we can do this, we can be healthy without the overwhelm. And we're going to talk a lot about that today.
Yeah. So I'm so happy that you brought that up, because that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to partner with you, Landon, is because we have the same clientele. We both work with women primarily. And oftentimes it could be so overwhelming, for you, like, you want to get healthy, you want to change your lifestyle habits, and you kind of know what to do, but you're just like, there's so many steps to take. Like, where do I start? So that's, yeah. So that's where really working with a health and fitness professional, creating that team, which we'll talk more about later on, is really important and will help you get to your end goal faster and more efficiently. So today we are going to share our Wake Up from Winter program, I guess is what it's called.
Tips.
So
great.
Yeah, this is just some tips. Landon came up with that, by the way. I have to give Landon all the credit for that creative title. So what we're here to do today is we're here to provide you some quick tips to help you do just that, like wake up from winter, because oftentimes the transition from winter to spring and then, kind of summer, depending on where you live, can be a bit more challenging than going from summer to fall to winter. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to dive right in and just start sharing our tips with you. So did you want to start first, Landon, or would you like
Sure.
to?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Go ahead. Go for it.
I think what you said is great, because there's something about coming to the end of summer where we're all ready to just settle down. We think about getting our good books ready, just ready to settle down, take it easy for the fall and the winter. But when the spring and the summer come around, we all get really excited. We want to put our shorts on. We want to go outside. And then all of a sudden we realize we've been hibernating. And we have to do something about this. And as women in particular, I think we feel like this heavy burden to all of a sudden be this perfect summer babe, or whatever the case may be. And we're going to talk about why that, it's okay to want to feel confident in your skin, but why there's a bigger thing going on there, that you don't have to take that burden and that stress, moving from a place of enjoying the subtleties of the winter and hunkering down and taking it easy and moving gently into this new season. And it's okay. And so one of the things that Melissa and I talked about was like, drop the guilt. You don't have to feel guilty that you had this other kind of habitual lifestyle for a small season, because that's what we all do. It's what nature does. It's what animals do. You hunker down, you take it easy, and you let your body rest so that it can rev up and get ready for the spring and the summer.
Yeah, totally agree with you 100% with that, Landon. And it's so, like Landon mentioned, like, not only like are there seasons with weather, but there's seasons with our biological rhythms as well. So we are kind of like bears in a way. Granted, I wish we could go sleep for 6 months out of the year, because I would be in heaven just eat a bunch of food and then just go sleep for 6 months. Oh my gosh, that would be like my ideal lifestyle. But yeah, so it's really kind of just going with like the natural rhythm of our bodies, which we really need to learn how to embrace them more. So yeah.
And I think some people might hear that and think, we're saying, being all wah about it, woo, woo woo. But I think I love the idea of the biological rhythms. Like, it's just the way we're created. And it's the way that, like, the seasons, unless you live in California where, it's always summer.
Yes.
But even then, I still think our bodies just long for that, kind of seasonal changes, and our mental health needs that sort of something new happening on the horizon. So what we want to present to you and offer you is that, again, lose the guilt. Don't find this as a reason to look back on the last 3 or 4 months or whatever and have guilt about the way you lived. Be ready and excited to make new changes and decisions to embrace this new season and whatever it may offer you.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. So when we're done with this, we also want you to feel, something you just said, Landon, just triggered this in my mind. Like, we want you to feel empowered right now. We want, after you get rid of the guilt and you really, as we kind of walk you through our quick and simple 3-step process, it's really, it should feel empowering to you to really just be like, you know what? I have control over this. And maybe I don't want that bikini body. Maybe that's not a goal of mine anymore. I hear from women in their 40s all the time where it's like, all right, I'm a mom, I'm married. I don't want the bikini body. I just want to be healthy overall and feel confident in my own skin. So
yeah. And Melissa and I were talking that with this background we have with the health coaching, that it's really all starts in your mind. And that's why that's the first thing that we're addressing in this video is your mindset. Because if you don't have your mindset in the right place, then whatever we talk about with nutrition and fitness and anything else is really not going to go very far. Its growth is going to be stunted unless your mind is in the right place. So what we want you to do is to look where you're currently at, be okay with that. And again, to choose to start here, and let's just start taking steps to the new place. And one of the things that we've talked about that's really good to do is to, whether it's every day or a few times a week, just to spend 5 minutes or less just writing or typing out on a Google Doc, like everything that's in your brain, just getting it out on a piece of paper and then going from there. It really helps you kind of get some insight into where you might be holding guilt against yourself, things you might be really excited about that you could latch onto during this time. But we've got to get the mindset in order for all these other things to really come in and take place and not be stressful and overwhelming.
Yeah, mindset is super important. And like you said, Landon, being okay with where you are right now and really doing like that brain dump. I think you mentioned that too when we were chatting.
Brain dump.
Doing a brain dump. And that's super helpful. And alongside that, like I think you touched on it too, Landon, is celebrating. Like what did you enjoy about winter? What successes have you had? It could be anything from, I focused on making homemade soups during the winter.
Yeah.
That are nutritious. Even if it was like once a month or one time you did it, it doesn't matter. The frequency and the magnitude of it is irrelevant. Just really getting in the habit of focusing on your successes.
Yeah. Whenever I start with a client, the first thing I really want them to focus on is getting the momentum right from the beginning, like seeing the successes right then, because you've got to be able to recognize those to keep going, or you're going to lose your momentum. You're going to get stuck in the mindset of what you aren't doing right, or where you're not feeling things moving as fast as you want them to. If you're not taking the time, whether it's that 5-minute brain dump or a gratitude journal or whatever behooves you, you're going to find anything negative to focus on. And you really have to celebrate even the smallest wins, because all those small wins are another shell out of the ocean, or a shell in the ocean, as the story goes, where there's every little step takes us that much closer to our goal And you have to be able to recognize those or you'll just get stuck.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And if you're in a place right now where it's difficult to find little successes, even the smallest successes to celebrate, don't worry about it. I don't want something like that to discourage you from moving forward. There's so many times, especially working in a group setting, I noticed that people in the beginning, you know, when I start my group coaching sessions with like, okay, let's share something exciting that happened since last time we met. In the beginning, I hear crickets. And people are like, oh my gosh, nothing good happened to me. And it's like, well, let's talk about that some more. And like, what happened in your life? You know, so really just kind of doing that brain dump, going over, oh, well, I got out of bed this morning. I walked to the mailbox, you know, I walked the dog today. Anything could be a cause for celebration. So
yeah. Yeah. And I will say, if
you
are really struggling to find anything, you can also ask your good friends, because a lot of times your good friends will be able to see those things that you can't see. So go to them.
Yes, that's so true. Go to your good friends, someone that you trust, someone that truly cares about you, and someone you feel safe with. Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And we're gonna bring all this back full circle towards the end. So don't worry, we're not gonna leave that hanging when we come up with your plan that we're gonna give you here in the end, right?
Yeah.
So you'll want to hang around so you can figure out how all these things, how they fit together, your plan for waking up from the winter. So don't hang up yet. So we're gonna move into the nutrition part. Are we right? Was this a good transition? Yeah. So one thing I thought was a good way to transition is just thinking, you know, again, if we're thinking seasons, right? I'm a gardener. It's one of my other passions. And so when the seasons start to change, the first thing that comes to my mind is getting out in the garden and planting all those seeds. And what can we eat that's fresh from the garden, right? Because again, if you're in Michigan, like I am, we don't have the fresh foods all year long. So one thing I think is great about when we start turning the leaf to the new season is seasonal produce and seasonal fruits and vegetables. And you'll find that those things are a lot lighter. They're a lot lighter, and your taste buds start to change and evolve as you're coming up out of the winter and going into the spring, and your farmers markets are opening up, and you might even see at your grocery stores like local produce coming in. And so I always encourage people to try those new things. Maybe you've never eaten asparagus before. Asparagus is known like the first crop of the season, you know, try something new. And one great way to do that is to go and create a Pinterest board. And I think it's fun to create a Pinterest board, like things to try or spring fair, whatever you want to type it, and go start looking for some fun spring recipes that you can try. And there's lots of them out there. They're super simple for those of you that like it simple in the kitchen, to really involved for those of you that like to liken yourselves to a chef, you know? But I think it's really fun, like as you're ramping up for this new season, is to try something new, try a new recipe, try a new food, go to the farmer's market if you've never gone, or if you have gone to the farmer's market, look for a new booth that you haven't visited before. Just kind of push your edges just a little bit out, just a little bit, and try something new. And before I hit my other topic, do you have anything to say to that?
I
put her on the spot.
Well, actually, something did pop into my head when you're talking about that. It kind of, well, I wanted to say also, like, you covered it very well, but the only thing that popped into my head is like, when you try this new vegetable, if it's asparagus, try it. And if you don't like the first way you prepared it, try it a different way.
Agree.
Because it's not always all preparations for vegetables, food in general, they're not all created equal. So I just want to encourage you to do that. And I learned that actually from a former health coaching client. She hated vegetables hated vegetables. I don't usually use the word hate that often, but she very strongly disliked them. And then as we continued to work together, slowly, when she tried new ways of preparing them, she grew to love them.
Yeah. So true. My husband says that I have a gift of making vegetables taste good, because his childhood is memories of canned vegetables.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yes,
and I am
yes.
all about making vegetables taste good. And I will give
Yep.
you a tip: roasted anything. I swear, roasted vegetables of any sort.
Yes.
That's the way to get that flavor. So if you're that
Yes.
person that dislikes vegetables strongly, maybe give roasting a try. But yes, absolutely push your edges. Try
Yep.
it again. Try it a different way, and you might be surprised that you find a new favorite. I always say. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So that's definitely a challenge I would like to put out there. The other thing I want to mention, it's something that I really focus on with my clients. It's a program I'm really pushing right now. For those who follow my email list, is balancing your blood sugar. And when most people hear that, the first thing they think of is diabetic. You know, well, that's just for diabetics. But I would like to offer you that balancing your blood sugar is really at the core of pretty much all of our health in the terms of brain health and your mood. If you found yourself being moody, you've drunk tons of coffee this winter, which I admit I'm guilty of. Yes. Balancing your blood sugar is really going to help you to start curbing those cravings that you may be struggling with, any sort of mood issues you may have. And a lot of women struggle with those, dropping an extra few pounds. And really all that comes back to is to make sure, and I love this term that I heard from Melissa Colbert, is don't eat carbs naked.
Oh, yes.
If you want to eat in your swimsuit, go right ahead, but don't eat carbs naked. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure you're always eating carbohydrates. And we're talking like any kind of fruits and vegetables and grains and breads, or starchy vegetables like potatoes and squash. I could go on. You want to make sure you're eating those things with a protein source and with a fat source. And I could get really nitty gritty in the numbers, but I'm not going to do that right now. All I'm offering to you is think about your meals each day, even your snacks. And if you can just like be mindful of having a carb, a protein, and a fat together, you are allowing your body to not spike blood sugar. And then you have that where your blood sugar falls and you get in that really hangry, like you can feel your blood sugar is low. You have to eat right now. And the first thing you want is sugar or something unhealthy. If you want to avoid those feelings and just overall make your body feel in sync and feel good, balancing your blood sugar is a huge, 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 huge component for that. So if you're interested in more, obviously reach out to me. You can check out my website or my emails. I'm putting a lot of information out there right now about that. But what I'm offering again to you is just be mindful of how you're eating moving into this new season. Bring in those fresh produce from the farmer's market. Eat some healthy, light protein of your choice, whatever that may be, and even incorporate some healthy fats. And we're talking olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, pasture-fed or organic dairies if you can tolerate dairy. So just jot those down. We'll make sure we put some of these notes out whenever we post this video so you don't have to scramble to write all these things down. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that balancing your blood sugar is something really key for bringing all of this together.
Yeah, that was, I feel like I'm so happy that you brought that up, Landon, and that you actually brought up the fact that it's not just for people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, because that was one of the first things I learned a decade ago when I was getting into like improving my healthy eating and really like learning more about, like the ancestral health and all that stuff was, it's all about your balancing your hormones and mainly your blood sugar level and keeping your insulin in check. So, I mean, I could geek out on it like you, Landon, all the science stuff. We won't go that. We won't go there right now. But that's a great tip, because that's also helps with anxiety. And I know you mentioned that mood, anxiety, depression. I noticed a big change when I started shifting into more of a whole food diet. Eating style, I should say, that my anxiety minimized. And I was like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, it can be as simple as just adding, like I said, just adding a little protein and fat to a meal or a snack. And it can really alter in a good way a lot of different aspects of your body. So
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Awesome. Shall we move on to
We
movement?
shall.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So movement is hands down one of my favorite things to talk about. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do as we are waking up, as you are waking up from winter, is to really sit back and be very honest with yourself and create a safe, non-judgmental zone in your immediate circle with you and your mind. And just tell yourself, okay, we're going to think about this and really be honest with ourselves and have no judgment whatsoever. And the first thing I want you to do is to really sit back and evaluate where your fitness level is right now. Just sit back and be like, you know what? What did I do? Ask yourself, what did I do this winter? What kind of movement did I do? Did I not do any movement besides just walking around in my daily life? Did I run once a week? Did I go hiking? Did I walk the dog? Whatever it is, really sit back and be honest with yourself. And this is something I do when I start working with a new personal training client. I always ask them in the beginning, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to tell me what your fitness level is. 1 being, I'm sedentary. I have not done any movement. I don't exercise. 10 being, I'm very active. I do some form of exercise every single day. And really being honest with yourself is super, super important. And the reason why it's super important is because your starting point, if you start too far, like you're swinging the pendulum too far to the other side, you have potential for injury, which we do not want. You're probably going to experience more muscle soreness in the beginning, which can discourage you from moving forward with your workout routine. And it's just super important to meet yourself where you're at, especially coming out of winter. So mainly for those 2 reasons, I'll say, like, prevent injury and to help mitigate muscle soreness. You're probably going to have some muscle soreness in the beginning, which is natural. It's okay. But you don't want it so extreme to where you're like, I can't even get out of bed in the morning, and walking to my kitchen is extremely difficult. So really just check yourself. Like, where are you? How do you feel about your fitness routine? And then I would encourage you to, as you're brainstorming ideas as to where to start, if you don't know where to start, first of all, with your new fitness routine, or your spring/summer fitness routine, reach out to a health professional. If you're the member of a gym, if you're a gym member or you're going to be a gym member, so many gyms offer free personal assessments with your membership. So go to your gym and ask them, can I connect with a trainer and they could help me kind of get started on a fitness program? Oftentimes they'll do that for free. I know the gym that we belong to, they do that. They offer that as part of our membership. Or reach out to someone like me, a personal trainer, either a local one or a virtual one, and find one that you connect with and that really understands you and works primarily with your age group, your gender. For me, I work primarily with women in their 40s because I'm a woman in my 40s, and I know the challenges we're facing, right now as we age, as we get older. So really just reach out for help. Just do it. Or you can even just search on YouTube. I have a health coaching client of mine where she could not find an exercise routine that worked for her. And she just kept searching and searching and searching and experimenting with different programs, and finally found someone on YouTube that really helped her um, create consistency with her workout routine alongside working with me as her health coach. But she found workouts that work best for her, that align with her fitness level. So for me, I mean, I offer virtual, on-demand fitness videos and progression videos too, to where you'll start here and then you'll slowly progress as your fitness improves. So, also when I'm working with someone one-on-one, that's how I roll. If we just walk and just do some push-ups on our knees for the first few sessions, that's what we do. So really realistically evaluate your fitness level. And then one thing I'm going to say, and I tell everyone this, especially women, is focus on strength training first. Cardio is great. However, strength training is really going to help you burn fat more efficiently when you're resting. And as we age, our muscle mass starts to decline slightly just naturally on its own, even when we are doing strength training. So find some strength training program that really works for you and that's doable for you, that fits into your schedule. And because here's the thing is, if it doesn't fit into our schedule, like from a time perspective, from a duration perspective and a convenience for your time, whatever your lifestyle is like, you're not going to do it. And then you're just going to give up. So that's why I decided to offer on-demand fitness videos. And my clients who are enrolled in the program love them because I had one client tell me last month, like, oh my gosh, it was so exciting. Ended up having 20 free minutes out of my day. And I was like, oh, I could go do one of Melissa's workouts. And she was so excited about it because it really just, pumped her up, and it helped her feel empowered that she had control over this. Because oftentimes as women, we're so busy taking care of everyone else in our life that we forget about ourselves. So, and then, I mean, I could go on for days about fitness, but I'll just wrap up to say, just get outside too, get some fresh air, go for a walk. If you have hiking trails where you are, get out and get on the trail and go for a hike. It doesn't matter how easy it is, but really connect in nature and bring your family along, bring the kids, bring your spouse, bring your friends. My husband and I went on a hike on Saturday and we hadn't been hiking together in a long time. And it was like, wow, this is cool. It's a great way to have like a date with your partner,
Yeah.
So definitely get outside, get that fresh air, get the sunshine, and just listen to nature and observe nature. Nature is so fascinating. It can be so, it's been doing a lot of this has been happening for millions and millions of years. So it's really cool to go out and just experience it.
Yeah. And I am such a nature girl, but sometimes I forget. I get so tied up in whatever it is I'm doing inside. I'm like, oh, I have to go outside and walk the dog. But the minute I get outside, it's like, oh, I have to go back inside.
Yes.
Like, you just forget. Like, there's just something about being outside, especially again, if you're in a place like Michigan where you've been inside so much of the winter, or if you have an office job or whatever the case may be. It's so refreshing and rejuvenating for your body, for your mind, for your senses to get outside, even if it's just for 5 minutes to walk your dog. I mean, there's just so much that happens neurologically and mentally and obviously physically if you can just break out of your rut and go outside for whatever, you can find time to fit in.
Yeah, exactly. When I was working at a corporate job, I would go, I'd eat my lunch and then I'd go for like a 10-minute walk afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was just so nice just to get out of the fluorescent lights.
Yes.
Oh, that.
Amen to that. I was the same way. Get me out of this office.
Yeah. So,
and we'll touch on this here in a minute when we get the plan, but I would just say to that, I've always been a fitness person. I love being active, but I know it's really intimidating to a lot of people and they don't even want to talk about it. Like, I just don't even bring the subject up. But what I think we're trying to say to you is, again, evaluate where you're at. Don't feel guilt and shame, because we're not putting that burden on you, and you shouldn't put that burden on yourself, but just make the choice to change. Make the choice to go for a walk. Make the choice to find a video series on YouTube. It took me a long time, and I finally, after trying different videos, found 2 channels that I loved. And that was motivating for me to know that I could just turn it on, or like in what Melissa's offering, just turn on her real-time videos, on-demand videos.
Yeah.
And you just have that right at your fingertips. So you don't have to be intimidated. You don't have to go to a gym. Just take a walk around your block. There's so much to offer. Just move is what we're saying.
Yes.
Just move.
Yeah, exactly. And I always tell my clients, like, there's always modifications for every single movement. So if you have an injury and you can't do movement, don't do it. If you're intimidated, just buy a movement because you feel like you just don't have the physical ability. Start with one of the modifications. And I've heard this from clients too, like from my on-demand fitness video program is like, oh, well, I started at, this place with this workout, and I felt myself getting stronger throughout the weeks, and working with, clients one-on-one, I see their progress, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's such a great, amazing transformation.
Super motivating. Yeah. Just to feel the changes for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I also, before we move on, the last thing I would say is I've always found that people, it can go work one way or the other, that if they're going to put the time and effort into the gym, then they want to eat healthy so that it's not wasted, or vice versa. If they're putting time and effort into changing their nutrition, then they want to go outside so that it's not, because they start feeling that sort of upswing of change. And they're like, well, I just want to do the whole kit and caboodle. A lot of times it's just taking that first step is the hardest. And then once you go, you're off.
Yes, I agree with you 100% with that. Cause I tell it to my clients. I tell it to myself too. Like, oh my gosh, I spend so much time like working out in the gym, not so much time, but my time that I'm in the gym, I work so hard. And, I share that with my clients too. Like, you're working so hard, and you have to really treat your bodies. You have to learn how to refuel them properly, which could be whole nother video that we can.
Well, just so our first step on your plan to wake up from winter is to start small. Don't let everything that we've said here be like, oh, I have to do this. No, you don't. We're encouraging you to start small. Make a list of 2 things that you can change starting tomorrow. 1 thing. If 2 things is overwhelming, pick 1 thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to start drinking more water, or tomorrow I'm going to go take a walk on my work break. So I think the best way to do this is, after this video, is to sit down, dedicate 5 minutes, do a brain dump. And from that brain dump, like literally just writing for 5 minutes, pick 2 things that stick out to you, that's something that feels doable to you, and start there.
Yes, agree 100%. Yep. That's what I always ask my clients. What's 1 thing that is easy to do, is simple, because easy and simple are not the same, and that you have the ability to do within the next 24 hours.
Yeah, because you got to move now, or you won't. You'll just keep dawdling.
Yes.
And Melissa has a question here that I think that kind of helps to pick out that if you're having a hard time just even picking something, it's what's most important to you right now. Is what most important to you to get your anxiety in check? Is what most important to you to be able to go do these outside activities with your kids? Or is it just to feel healthier or more confident in your skin in general? So if you can pick out your top priority of what you want to change in the big scheme of things, then you can narrow down to that first step to working towards that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And that's where, from like my training through my master health coaching program, that's what I'm trained to help my clients do, is to really get granular, because sometimes it could be hard and it could be overwhelming, and we shut down because we overanalyze every option that we have. So
yeah. So I would say, if you can just, one exercise I did one time, which I thought was great, was, well, I just want to look good in your swimsuit. Okay, well, why?
Yep.
Because I want to feel confident. Well, why? Why do you want to feel confident? Because I've spent my whole life being concerned about everyone else's thoughts. Well, why? And when you kind of keep asking yourself why, you finally get to what's your big why. What is your big why? I want to know that I'm valuable, that people love me, and that I have something to offer. And when you can really get to that big why, then you can really start to nitpick the important things to start putting your energy and your time to, we all want to look in a swimsuit. I mean, I think every woman in the world, like at some point, that's like what they feel, but if that's your ultimate goal, it's only going to get you so far.
Right.
You're going to toss the nutrition plan and the exercising in the dumpster by week 2, if that's your biggest goal. So we're trying to drive you past that to what's your ultimate why? Why are you watching this video? What is it that brought you here? What can you write down on your piece of paper that you can shoot for to take that first step, to try the new recipe, to try the new exercise video, or even to start, like we're going to talk about here in a minute, gathering your health team to help you live that life that you want to live.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything you want to add to that?
There was something, and I can't remember right now, but let's continue on. And
sure.
I think that was great. Yeah. Really getting granular and keep asking yourself why. Cause like you said, your why has to be emotional. It can't be just aesthetics or, something on the surface. It has to be deeper than that.
And big enough to motivate you too.
And big enough. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And, again, if your first step is just learning to drink more water, well, once you start drinking more water and you start feeling how good you feel with just drinking more water, then you're like, ooh, what else can I do?
Exactly.
This feels amazing. Just drinking more water. What else can I do? And then you'll find your next step. And if you're feeling overwhelmed to even know what your next step is, well, that's where we come in. This is where you gather your team and we do all the hard work for you. We've done all the research, we've done all the training, and you could spend hours online trying to get your plan together. But if you have someone like Melissa or myself or whoever resonates with you to help you kind of weed and sift through all the jargon, then we can help you streamline and just help you think through your thoughts, just to find clarity in your thoughts of knowing. Because sometimes you just get so caught up in your head, you just need someone to go, oh, but this is what you're saying. This is what you're saying right here. So if you want to take this next step, I think that's going to get you to your next step, And they're just going to continue to build on to one another. But that's why we've been given the gift that we've been given, so we can help you all live your best life, not waste time in the weeds, and time, money, energy, whatever it is that's your priority. So that you can move on and, like I said, enjoy the spring, enjoy the summer, enjoy the winter, enjoy your life.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting too, because, I hear one of the things I hear pretty consistently from my coaching clients is, like at the end of our coaching session, when they have found a solution to their challenge, to their problem, they almost always say to me, you know what, this was really helpful for me to talk this out with you.
Mm-hmm.
This was really helpful, because sometimes we just need to talk it out with someone who's educated, who understands, who gets us that. And then it's just, things just become so much more clear when we talk things out. So I'm glad you brought that up, Landon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, really the last thing I would say, I have here, gather your team. I think ultimately you have to have a plan. So if I were to look at you right now and tell you what to do as we kind of come to a close, I would say, spend 5 minutes after you end this video, write down a brain dump, all the things that are in your head after hearing us talk. Decide what's most important to you. If you have to keep asking yourself, why, get to that most important thing. Then come up with your top 3. I want to drink more water. I want to move more. I'm just pulling this out from the back of my mind. And I want to teach my kids how to eat healthy. And then you can, from that, pick out your simple steps, one step every day, add one thing, get good with that one thing, then add another thing, get good with that one thing, then add another thing. And again, if you need help and support, being able to figure out what those one simple steps are to get out of your head and organize your mindset, that's where Melissa and I can come in handy. We can even refer you to people that maybe aren't in our specialty. That's the thing about the different webs of people that we know. We can always refer out if there's a specialty that, you know, you're interested in or needing help with. But that's why we're here, to offer this to you, to help you get your plan instead of just sitting where you're sitting and not taking any action at all, because that's the worst decision you can make, is to not decide and move forward at all.
Yes. So agree with you. Just really, like Landon said, you know, we have both built networks of other health and fitness professionals that can help and provide you support. And I just want to say, just really emphasize also what Landon said a few minutes ago, is to rely on us to do the research. You do your own research, whatever you want to research. But if you don't want to do that, you let us do it, and we'll walk you through the steps of what,
absolutely,
you know, to help guide you through what would be, help you figure out what would be best for you. So,
yeah.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up?
I think it's good. I think this is great. I think, again, just remember, don't feel the guilt. Don't dwell on the past. Be excited at what's around the corner, and just take a decision right now. Just make a decision that if you're feeling a yearning or a desire for some change, do it. Just do it. Don't let it cascade into the back after this video is over. Just take the time, invest in yourself 5 minutes right now, just to make a decision to move forward. And if you have any questions, if you need any direction at all, we are going to link our information to this video so you can reach out to us. And we know there's a wealth of people probably wherever you are at, but if you need a starting point, allow us to be that for you. We would be glad to reach out and help you get going.
Yes. And I always offer, you know, complimentary discovery calls. If you just want to get on the phone or Zoom with me and just chat, just let me know, share with me what challenges you're having, and I will help kind of point you in the right direction. I'm sure Landon will be happy to do the same thing. And that will even be, I've also found that when I even do that with potential clients, like they even, by the end of our call, they're like, oh my gosh, I already have clarity, some sort of clarity on which direction I need to go in right now. So
great. Well, this was fun, Melissa. Thank you.
Thank you, Landon. And thank you everyone for watching, and share this with whoever you feel might resonate with it, who could use some inspiration. Definitely send them our way. We're here to help. And I love being in this transformational business.
Absolutely.
So, cool. Awesome. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Take care.